be a place where every man and every woman can have a voice in the national politics. That was its purpose. And we've gotten away from that. We need people who are not afraid to fight against the establishment, who are not afraid to stand up and say what needs to be said. Now you may be asking, thank you. You may be asking yourself, well, how are you different? Well, I'll tell you exactly how I'm different. You see, I know what it means to fight. I've raised my right hand and sworn an oath to this nation on more than one occasion. I have sworn that oath and I have lived that oath. You see, on September 8, 2014, while serving as a deputy sheriff with the Charleston County Sheriff's Office, I was involved in an incident where my partner, Joe Mataskovic, was murdered standing right next to me. I was shot and I had to fight to survive. And not only for my survival, but for others as well. I know what it means to fight. I'm not afraid of the left. I'm not afraid to call them what they need to be called. When we have a United States representative comparing our nation to the Taliban, to Hamas, and saying that we're horrible, I'm not afraid to call her out. I'm not afraid to say, you know what, Representative Omar, you're a horrible person. You're filled with hate. Has anybody here and again, I don't write speeches, obviously, so I'm going to go off on a little tangent here, but just curious, has anybody heard Representative Omar ever say, I love America? No. Has she ever thanked this country for taking her family in from a war-torn country, giving her the opportunity to serve in Congress? Has she ever thanked us? No, I haven't heard it. And she's been on TV enough spewing out her hate. So I'm not afraid to call her what she is, a hateful person. And I'm not afraid to be labeled whatever they're going to label me. They'll call me, what, a racist, a misogynist, anti-Muslim, whatever ist that the left will give me. That doesn't scare me. And I'll tell you what else doesn't scare me. And that's our establishment Republicans. Our leaders in the Republican Party have failed us. They have failed us. How many of you have given and given and given and you feel like, why? Why do I keep giving? Nothing changes. When this that's right, Trump did change it. That's why they don't like him. But when we think about our establishment leadership, when this mess from the left, this socialist fringe ideology started moving in, what did our establishment leaders do? Nothing, not a thing. And now look where we're at. You know, this gentleman brings up President Trump. When President Trump was elected president, his first year in office, what did he beg the Republican-controlled House and Senate to do? Two things: immigration reform, health care reform. And what did our Republican leaders give us? Nothing. A big fat zero. And look at what we got now. So ladies and gentlemen, that's, in a nutshell, why I'm running. So again, what makes me different? Well, I can sit here and tell you all kinds of nice things, but the truth is, I am a conservative. What does that mean? Because it doesn't mean what our Republicans in Congress think it means, because they'll come out and tell you, we're conservative. But yet, behind closed doors, that same leadership voted to reinstate earmarks. blank checks that you can attach to any bill. A conservative wouldn't do that, especially when we're almost $30 trillion in debt. That's not a conservative. I am a conservative. First, let me tell you something. I pledge to you right now, it's on all of my literature, it's on the tables, it's on our website. If you elect me or help me get elected to Congress, I will not serve more than 8 years in Congress, period. Period. You know, you'll hear politicians say, well, we favor term limits. Do you really think those politicians are going to vote themselves out of office? No. We have to elect people who are not career politicians. And I'm not a career politician. I have no desire to be a career politician. My desires are to make this country better for my daughter, your children, but I can't do it alone. I need y'all, because this isn't about me. This is about all of us. So I stand for conservatism. What does that mean again? Small government, limited government. I believe in the Constitution, and the Constitution is designed to limit the power of the government and not the rights of the people.
There you go.
The First Amendment, the Second Amendment, the rights of the unborn. Those are all things that I believe in. And since I went off script, I'm going over time, so I need to get out of here so that we can have other people speak. We have some great people speaking. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be here. Please come up, ask questions. I'll be happy to answer them. Please look us over on our website. If you believe in what we're doing and what we're trying to do, please, I'm going up against an incumbent. Your donations can go so far as to being able to help us take the House back and put it back where it belongs, and that's in the hands of the people. So thank you all very much. You all have a wonderful day.
What's your website?
My website is www.ackerman4fornc.com. Thank you all very much.
Thanks, Michael. Appreciate it. Okay, so just a couple of reminders again. The trolley is just back out here in the parking lot. Those of you that want to make a trip down to the Great Actor site, you're going to do it every hour on the hour. The next speaker we got coming up is Tyler Lee from the Charlotte area. Tyler is going to be running for Congress next year. Tyler's a Liberty graduate, Liberty University, which is, we all know, to be a great Christian university. Tyler is a faith, family, and freedom guy. And that's something we all cherish. So please give us a warm welcome for Tyler Lee running for Congress.
Thank you all. It's an honor to be here with all of you today, all these wonderful patriots on Independence Day weekend. We're all here to celebrate our freedoms together. So thank you all for coming and having me. I'm Tyler Lee. I'm running for United States Congress to represent the people of the greater Charlotte area and all Americans. In 2020, when the government designated small businesses and churches as non-essential, but they left strip clubs, abortion clinics, and liquor stores open, I said enough is enough. Our faith, our family, and our freedoms are under attack. And I have a personal vendetta out against all the liberals and those establishment rhinos that don't look out for me and you. I'm making a personal sacrifice to leave the private sector. I've been an entrepreneur for the last decade, but I am so fed up with what's going on in our country. It's disgusting, and so I'm going to Congress, I'm going to D.C. to take the punches for all of you and represent every single one of you in D.C. in 2022. I'm going to send Nancy Pelosi packing, but I need your help. I need your support. I have to go back up the good guys, like Congressman Madison Cawthorn and Dan Bishop. They need our help. They need our support. I will not primary an incumbent Republican like those guys. But there are 2 or 3 seats that will open up. And when we know our districts in the fall, I'll settle on a district and I'll go fight for every one of you, and we're going to take back the House and have a red wave in 2022.
Yeah.
I don't need to tell you that our country is in a mess again. Inflation is skyrocketing. Gas has gone up. Wings. All of you probably remember a decade ago when chicken wings were 10 cents a drum. Now they're over $1 a drum. It's negatively impacting our wallets.
Yeah.
And as you're seeing, small businesses are having to shut down. We just had 2 small businesses in Charlotte that have been around for 50 and 60 years. They literally wrote on their Facebook page the lack of labor, the high food costs, all these Democrat socialist issues that we're fighting against is what shut them down. But corporations are owned by China, so they're staying in business because they have an unlimited pocketbook. And so it's running small business owners like myself and many other Americans out of business. And I'm tired of it, and we're going to stand up and fight against that. The liberals just think they can just print money. And so we're just seeing this, we're starting to see this hyperinflation catch up to us. I am an America First policies candidate. Anything any issue that is America First, that takes care of our citizens, I will fund when I go to Congress. But I'm not going to fund the rest of the world because I'm looking out for you. I want to spend your tax dollars wisely and ensure they go to the right place. Because red tape and regulation, it's out of control what the federal government is doing. A lot of this power, a lot of this money needs to be reallocated back to the states. The federal government overreaches and has its hands in so many issues that it doesn't need to be in. I'll make sure corporate taxes are lowered for small businesses so they can innovate and they can grow. And I'll hold China accountable.
Yeah.
They've infiltrated all of our 3-letter agencies. Like I said earlier, our corporations. China is coming for us. And if we don't step up, if you don't support like candidates like myself, we're going to lose everything we know. All of our freedoms out the window. Obviously, I'm running for politics. But at the end of the day, this is more than politics for me. This is good versus evil. The enemy continues to disguise these issues and slip things into society and cover it and make it look good, wrap it up in this bow, but it's really evil. It's pure evil. Like critical race theory. We should be educating our children, not indoctrinating them.
Yeah. Come on, Tyler.
This critical race theory issue gives our children a victim mindset. It'll set our country back many decades. Everything against what Martin Luther King fought for. Big Tech, when we speak out against this, Big Tech wants to censor me and you from speaking truth, bringing light to darkness. And I'm fed up with it. Fake news, like CNN, they push these false narratives. I'll defend the police, not defund the police, unlike what the liberals want to do. And they've been blaming us the last week, saying the Republicans are the ones that have been defunding the police. That's a bunch of BS. And we all know it. We all back the blue here. We're Republicans. We're conservatives. We love our countries. And they are the real heroes. Our police are heroes. They wake up every day, not knowing if they will go home to their families. And so I will ensure when I go to Congress that they have the funding they need for the right training, the right technology, everything they need to do their job and protect citizens like me and you. Of course, election integrity. What a disaster. We have to demand voter ID because we know the Democrats can't win on fact, so they have to steal everything. And I'm fed up with it, and I'm going to demand voter ID when I go to Congress in 2022.
Yeah. Come on, Tyler.
I don't even need to tell you about the crisis on the border. We have to build that wall. We have to continue what President Trump started. We are being overwhelmed with illegals. And don't get me wrong, America is the greatest country in the world. And there's a reason so many millions of people flee to America every year. But they have to do it the illegal way. The illegal way, I'm sorry. They're trying to do it the illegal way. But I'm a Republican, so we want them to do it legally. But we have to take care of our citizens first, like our veterans. 22 veterans a day commit suicide. But the Democrats don't care about that. They just want to overwhelm our system with illegals, give them free health care, free handouts, and try to buy their vote. And we have to support our Border Patrol. They are overwhelmed with tens of thousands of people coming in every day. We have to get a control of this crisis on the border. Of course, I love our military. My brother is stationed in Anchorage, Alaska right now. Just got married last week. But I support our military 100%. Peace through strength has worked since Reagan. We have to continue that, stop endless wars, stop losing lives, losing money, and I will fund the military to ensure that they can defend our freedoms and our liberties so we can enjoy weekends like this all together.
Yeah.
I will preserve our rights. The government should not infringe on our Second Amendment. And I will fight for right to life because life begins at conception. This my body, my choice is such a fake narrative because when you have a life, have a living soul in your body at conception, that is murder, it is selfish, it is evil. And I will give a voice to the unborn. COVID was a disaster. It was a biological warfare that China used against us. We saw domestic violence and mental health skyrocket. We have to unmask and unmuzzle our children. This is modern day segregation. There's a couple that goes to my church. Their daughter has asthma and they're forcing her to wear a mask. And the two options they gave her was to sit her in a classroom away from her friends so she doesn't have to wear a mask, or Zoom in from home and be away from her friends. These kids, they're not a liability on COVID. So why are they forcing them to wear masks? We have got to step up to this. Go to your local school boards, fight for these children because they are our future generations and we have to look out for them. My blood starts to boil on COVID passports. I don't think the government should have any right to overreach and tell you what you can put in your body. Now that's really my body, my choice right there. You should choose between a vaccine or not taking the vaccine. The government's has no place in telling you that. Enough is enough. We the people, we are fed up and we want to be left alone. I know all of you want to be left alone like me. These politicians, these career-long politicians, these rhino Republicans, and these liberals, I don't even need to go there, but they're not looking out for me and you. They keep playing these political games with us and using us as pawns, and enough is enough. I'm stepping up and fighting back for that reason. These liberals, these rhinos, they are so obsessed. They are so obsessed with power. They want to take it from me and you. They want to take our power away. The founders believed that our rights come from God, not the government. No one has the right to rule over another without their consent. And that is based in the Constitution. And I will follow the Constitution and ensure that our rights are protected when I go to D.C. We all have to stand for something. Most of us in here, I assume, are Christians. Our baseline morals are based on Christianity. That's where I stand. And when I go to D.C., I'm only accountable to God. And secondly, you guys. But at the end of the day, when I pass away and go to heaven, I want to hear, well done, thy good and faithful servant. So I don't care what these rhinos and liberals say. I'm not accountable to them. I'm only accountable to God and you.
Yeah.
This is not about Democrat versus Republican to me. It's not about black people versus white people. At the end of the day, we all bleed red. There is spiritual warfare happening. I have a target on my back now that I've stepped out of the private sector. The enemy does not want to see people like me run for Congress and try to turn America back to God. My campaign verse, this is what I've lived by the last 2 weeks. And I expect everyone to keep me accountable with this verse. It's Matthew 16:26. It says, "For what is a man profited, if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul?" I'm not going to Congress and losing my soul, losing my chance to go to heaven and hear, "Well done, thy faithful servant," just to line my pockets, just to gain more power, just to gain more greed like most of these politicians do. I'm not going to do it because my accountability is to God and God alone.
Yeah, come on.
As I was preparing yesterday to speak to you guys today, a song started playing, a worship song. While I was preparing it, it came on. I thought it was perfect for this moment. I'm going to share it with you. It's by Chris McClarney. The lyrics say, "My God is so much bigger than the troubles I face. Why would I hunger for power or riches or fame? Oh, because my God is so much better than all these things. So I won't be shaken. I won't be moved. My God is faithful. His promise is true. So I speak to the mountains. Oh, it's time to move. Because my God is bigger, better, stronger, greater than you."
Yeah.
When I announced 6 weeks ago, there were many establishment Republicans that came to me and said, "You need to wait your turn, son. You need to wait your turn." And I told all of them, I said, "I'm sorry. God has called me to this role. I don't care what you think. Don't ask me why he's calling me to Congress. Sometimes God asks us to do things and we have no clue why. It's a lot easier to stay in the private sector. That I can tell you. But he has called me into this place. This moment in history was made for me. It was made for you. And I'm going to step up and fight. I want you to know that God is with me, step by step, and I'm following in obedience. And I will represent all of you. Even if you're not in my district, I'm here to represent all Americans and fight for you. And we will unify and we will win in 2022 because enough is enough. And I will continue America First policies in Congress and send Nancy Pelosi and her crooked friends packing in 2022. I need your help. I need your help. Everyone pull out your phone right now. Pull out your phone. This is a grassroots campaign. I don't have millions and millions of dollars coming in from my buddies because I haven't been in politics long enough to accept these handouts that these guys get. I'm not bought and paid for by them, but I want you to go to votetylerlee.com right now. It's votetylerlee.com. There's 3 things that campaigns run off of. Contributions. So I'm going to ask you now, $5, $10, $100, and if you're generous enough, I'll do anything for a max donation of $2,800. But contributions would mean a lot. It'll help me take on the establishment and the radical left. Secondly, we need volunteers. When we know what doors to knock on, we will certainly stay in touch with you. I'd love for you to email me and get in touch. And third, your prayers. Those are most important because we are under attack in America right now. And I can't operate without prayers. I can't operate without doing what God wants me to do and knowing I'm in His will. So I need your prayers. So if you can help with one or all the above, I would greatly appreciate it. But you can learn more about me at votetylerlee.com. God bless you, and God bless America.
Thank you, guys.
How about Tyler Lee? He did a good job, didn't he? I think so. Yeah. Okay, it's now my distinct pleasure to invite up to the podium a Wake County resident who's running for Congress in 2022. He's a friend of several close friends of mine, so I know he comes from good company. He's an NC State grad, an NC Central grad, and what?
Dirt and water.
What?
Is he running for soil and water?
No, not running for soil and water. He's running for Congress. He's running for the U.S. Congress. His name is Scott Lassiter. He's an NC State grad, an NC Central grad, and he's working on his PhD from NC State. He's a fireball. I know he's going to make a great public servant. Welcome, please welcome Scott Lassiter.
Jim, thank you so much, and can't say enough to thank Jim and Sherry Womack and the Conservative Coalition of North Carolina. It's absolutely a pleasure to be here today. I didn't know I was running for Congress until Jim just spoke there. But in all seriousness, I am honored to represent the million-plus residents of Wake County as the Soil and Water Conservation District
Congress.
Supervisor. And
Lassiter for Congress. 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 Lassiter for Congress.
This was a setup. This was a setup. But in all honesty, that really is how folks that serve in our government should be elected. It shouldn't be about us. It should be about somebody else out there that sees that value in you. So, in all truthfulness, when I was asked to speak today, I was a little surprised to be able to come here because aside from some Patriot friends from Wake County, a lot of y'all have never heard of it. See, I don't hold a fancy office. I haven't gone viral. I'm just an ordinary public servant. I'm trying to live, I'm trying to educate, and govern by our founding principles. I pray simply and humbly every day. When I say simply, I mean it. Just ask that His will be done. Jesus Christ's will be done. Because I know that no one man has all the answers. Nobody should be that arrogant. See, I'm nothing special. I'm just trying to do what my dad taught me and his dad before me taught me. But then I got to thinking, maybe I do represent something more.
Scott, hold the mic up.
Thank you. Maybe I do represent something more. Because I am one of the faces of the rebirth of traditional Judeo-Christian principles here in our country. I'm one of the many who's just simply had enough by those shenanigans that we see of the left. I'm 34 years old. So I've seen countless failed liberal policies, even in that lifetime. But what I've also seen, time and time again, is what works. Success in my own life, success in those students of mine's life. And it's hard work. It's resilience. It's self-determination. Those good conservative principles that we all believe in. And, I'm experienced enough to be able to speak intelligently on complicated topics, but I'm not tired. I'm not jaded. I'll tell you what, I'm not alone, because everyone I know that has a basic education, that has some semblance of critical thought, who's actually read the Constitution, see, they share the sentiments I'm going to talk to you about. All right, so who am I? I told you I'm Scott Lassiter. I'm elected Wake County Soil and Water Conservation District Supervisor. I'm a public school administrator, and I'm a public school administrator who leads his students in the Pledge of Allegiance daily. I explained to them, thank you, and I explained to them why they stand. I empower them with the ideals of self-determination and hope. I'm a North Carolinian, and most importantly, I'm a Christian, common sense, optimistic conservative. And unfortunately, I told you I'm the only countywide elected official in Wake with those values. But we're going to fix that because I see a groundswell of principled conservative thought in this nation right now that I have never seen the likes of before. The difference between me and some of my colleagues in government in the capital county is that I'm a student of history. I'm a student that refuses to accept that our nation's best days are behind us, or that somehow we're irreparably flawed from the thoughts or actions of our ancestors from a completely different time period. I was a student who argued fiercely with old hippie professors who, mind you, at a state-supported school, taught mandatory courses with titles like Problems with American Democracy. I don't know about you, but I was never exposed to a course that talked about the miracle of American democracy. Or what it means when we talk about American exceptionalism. See, I argued then and I believe today that though this country is not perfect, yes, we're all washed with sin, it is the closest mankind has ever come to creating a truly righteous and just nation. I also believe it's up to us, all of us sitting here, our children, our grandchildren, that we improve upon this great nation by building on our foundational principles rather than running her down day after day. See, the America I know is synonymous with hope and opportunity, not bigotry, like the left would have you believe, not hate,
like they try to convince folks. And I believe that the privilege to pursue that opportunity by immigrants should be awarded based on their potential to add value to our society, not just because they're close to the Mexican border. You know, one of our misguided friends in Congress, a liberal congresswoman from Texas, recently said she felt like her district, which includes El Paso, was the new Ellis Island. No, it is not. President Lincoln, a Republican, remember, he said it best. When he saw the Civil War on the horizon, he cautioned his nation that the greatest threat was going to be from division among our own citizens, not from some other nation. After his prediction, unfortunately, came true and that bloody conflict was settled, our country went on to reconstruct itself, save the civilized world from the Central and Axis powers in Europe and Asia, expand civil rights, defeat communism domestically and abroad, and bring Islamic terrorists to their knees. See, we owe a debt of gratitude to each and every one of those men and women of the generations before us. And we need to thank them for their contributions. But today it's our time. It's our time to lead. And it's our time to defend this country from the very threat that Lincoln spoke of almost 200 years ago. Those internal factions that are hell-bent on destroying our very way of life, our country. What President Reagan referred to as the shining beacon, the great city on the hill, that very concept that is America. That destruction is the radical left's plan, y'all. We know the Constitution. And we know it's the foundational document of this country. We know it's the supreme law of the land, and it is what separates us from nations where you're born stationed in life, completely determines your destiny. We're citizens. We're not subservient to the whims of a man, but rather we're governed by universal laws applied equally to every man and woman. But I'll tell you, this may come as a surprise, there's something even more important than those articles in the Constitution that form our government. See, the Constitution, those first three articles, grant the government authority and powers. What I'm referring to grants us the power and provides us protection from our government. I'm talking about the Bill of Rights, folks. This document right here. And it's every bit as important, if not more so important today than it was when our forefathers signed on to it. Because without these, there wouldn't be an America. Without the Bill of Rights, our founding fathers never would have signed on to a system of government without including those checks to its power and those specific rights for individuals. And they're outlined right there in that document. And those 10 amendments were devised by some extremely smart and patriotic yet liberty-minded men. And those are the crux of this great experiment in democracy that we call the United States of America. Folks, the Bill of Rights cannot be overstated. And when you hear nebulous phrases like freedom of assembly or freedom of speech or the right to bear arms or the right to privacy, I think many of us fail to take the time to draw concrete connections as to how those concepts are applicable today. But believe me, they're under attack at this very moment. Take the First Amendment. Who would have ever thought we'd be restricted in our right to assemble? But we saw just that when conservative-minded folks went to their local governments and asked for permits to support their law enforcement. They asked for permits to provide, to be involved in and to host July 4th celebrations, Independence Day celebrations last year, and they were turned down. While rioters ran amok in our streets, set fires to our cities, and somehow the left blamed that on, or justified that with COVID safety protocols. How about churches in clear violation of our right to practice religion? They were shut down. Cancel culture, you know what happens when we go to press. Those who disagree philosophically with us, they don't just try to restrict our speech anymore. They try to destroy us and pull the plug on our media outlets. They even contemplate re-educating us for our dangerous conservative thought. And of course, I don't need to spend a whole lot of time on the second. we all are in agreement here. When I'm questioning on my views regarding gun rights, generally I just pull over my coat and point to whatever I happen to be carrying that day and remind folks that those firearms, they're not just for government agents. They're there for ordinary people like you and I, not just the politicians that get to walk around with armed security, but they're there so all of us can protect our sacred rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, whether they be threatened by some violent gang member or by a tyrannical bureaucrat. Doesn't matter. How about privacy? We live in an information age, folks. Somebody who understands the frightening opportunity for abuse of our globally connected information systems has got to step up. The Fourth Amendment, its protections against unreasonable search and seizure should apply just as equally to our iPhones, to our personal computers, as they did to Jefferson's personal journals and his patents. But all too often, we realize that's not the case. Because under the guise of safety or efficiency, our government and big tech continue to encroach on every form of privacy and data that's out there. It's another step towards policing of thought, folks, and I know each and every one of you has read Orwell, and you know how that is. The Fifth is supposed to protect us from government witch hunts, but do you really think that's happening? The conservatives actually receive due process protections when they speak out against critical race theory, gender dysmorphia, or any other flavor of the day, feel-good, social justice, liberal policy trends that are being shoved down our throats? We know they don't. The Sixth Amendment requires speedy, fair trials and the right to face an accuser. But how often are we lambasted by anonymous sources, not allowed to have an impartial jury, but the left, with the cooperation of the mainstream media, is able to charge, convict, and try in the court of public opinion good everyday American folks that are simply exercising their rights. We've got a problem. Finally, the 10th Amendment. Our founding fathers were clear that states are supposed to reign supreme. States are specifically responsible for the majority of law enforcement, the administration of justice, all of public education, and everything that's not spelled out in the Constitution. But we see time and time again mandates being passed down from Washington by power-hungry career politicians and want to impose their will on issues that clearly should be locally controlled. You don't want to lower your minimum speed limit? Oh, well, in your state, we'll take away your federal highway fund. You don't want to lower your standards for K-12 education? Well, we'll take away that funding too. None of this is what they had in mind. Hell, I'm convinced there's an earthquake somewhere every time Congress convenes as all those men roll over in their graves simultaneously. You know, I hope I've hit a nerve today. I hope I've given you something to think about that helps you relate what's happening all around you to the very concepts our founding fathers sought to protect in the Bill of Rights. But it's not just enough to know better. We've got to do better. That's what my charge is to you, to each of you, to do your part to defend our liberties, our foundational principles. It's great that you're here. I see some young people here. I see some folks that brought children, maybe grandchildren with you. I commend you, but you've got to do more. It's not enough to just go wave the flag on Independence Day. See, you got to vote. You got to contribute to good candidates. We can't rely on the dark money and those leftist special interest groups that our friends on the other side of the aisle do. You got to spread this message of hope and optimism. You got to run for office yourself. You got to participate in our democracy and stand up for America. Look, our founding fathers risked it all. So, just being asked to have an uncomfortable encounter with some snowflake that lives in Mama's basement, that really shouldn't be too much.
Joe Biden.
We're at a pivotal crossroads. And we either, to quote Mr. Lee Greenwood, no, I'm not going to try to sing it, we either stand up next to you and defend her still today.
Yeah.
Or I'm concerned our future generations won't have anything left to defend. See, it's our time, it's our responsibility, and I'll be damned if I'm going to let it go by without doing something. I truly hope you'll join me. And, you know, if we're going to be successful in defending this country against this orchestrated attack, we're going to need some help. And the person I know, where the greatest help comes from is the Lord, and I know that He is on our side. And through Him, all things are possible. The creation of this nation was possible, and the Savior of this nation will be equally possible. So I end with this. It is indeed my sincere hope that God bless each of you, your families, as you stand firm in the face of this assault on our country from the far left. It's my hope that God continue to bless the great state of North Carolina and the United States of America, even California.
All right, thanks, Scott. Look, everybody, I want to invite up here for just a minute David Fox, who's working on Scott's campaign, who's a friend of Scott's. He wants to say a few words. So please welcome David Fox from Lee County.
I am not Mark Robinson. I'm far better looking. Tell Mark I said that. But no, I'm going to be very brief. Scott is a dear friend of mine, just like Jim Womack, Sherry Lynn, Leah Haywood. And one of these folks are coming to ask you, not just to vote, they're coming to ask you to fight. They're asking you 2022, 2024, 2026, 2028, every damn time there is a Republican on the ballot, you need to be at the ballot box and taking people with you to go and fight. Because this country is not going to survive with people sitting on the sideline. My Savior in the Garden of Gethsemane was offered the entire world. And He turned it down because He knew that there was something more important. That the people have to come first. And you all, what you're seeing on the news, what you're seeing in the paper, what you're hearing on the radio, is an artificial reality. In which the family is not important. In which hard work is not important. In which education is not important. All those things are foolish to me. I'm the grandson of sharecroppers. Don't tell me this country hasn't changed. Don't tell me we haven't gotten better. Don't tell me that we can't learn. I met that man, Scott Lassiter, at NC State. We were running for an office. Of course I won. Absolutely. Yeah, whatever. We don't get off that. But I won. And what I realized going to NC State, was all people from all over the state. They were from the mountains, they were from the coast, they were from the cities, they were black, white, Hispanic, whatever. We were all NC State students. When we were at the games, we were all rooting for the same team because we were on the same team. What about this country? What about you all? Oh, I don't see white people, Asian people, hey Joe, some other people. We're all American citizens. And we rise and we fall together. So what I want y'all to do going forward is to fight. Amen. Period. If you got, somebody that needs a ride to go and vote, go take them. I don't have gas money for you, but go take them. Because it's important that we retake this country. And whoever runs in 2024, hopefully Ron DeSantis, but whoever runs, we need to be there to support him. And in 2022, I can tell you where I'm going to be. I'm going to be voting for Scott Lassiter. I'm going to be voting for Lee Haywood. I'm going to be voting for Tyler Lee. I'm going to be voting for Ted Buck. And I'm going to be voting for every single conservative candidate because this is all we got. After America, there is nothing, and I'm bound and determined to save it. So thank y'all. Enjoy this. Jimbo, thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you, David. Thank you. Okay. I know some of you are getting ready for the National Rock Show. They're going to be presenting their repertoire of great music here shortly. We got one more speaker before the band. Renee Borghese, please come up. Renee is a candidate for Congress in District 4. Everybody here that loves David Price, give a shout out. No, I'm not hearing anything. How unfortunate for David Price. Okay. So, originally from Arlington, Texas, Renee is a cancer survivor. God bless her. Because I'm going to tell you, that's important. That shows she's a fighter. She understands how to get through it, okay? She's from Orange County, rural Orange County. and she's going to tell you about herself and her candidacy for Congress. Please welcome Renee Borghese.
Thank you, everyone. Listen, I really appreciate the opportunity to stand up here and talk to you guys, but I have to say, the thing that does my heart the best and really re-energizes my soul is being around people who are like-minded, who have open minds, and are not looking at people and putting them in sectors, but looking at them as Americans. And I have to say that that is, listening to all the people who have spoken today, and that general theme is amazing, and we have to keep it going. So I know, thank you. I'm not going to talk too much because I know that everybody's probably looking forward to the band. I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. I am a cancer survivor. My husband also is undergoing cancer. He's got chronic lymphoma. I'm a nurse by trade. I'm a mother. I have a 28-year-old son who recently got engaged, and he finally picked the right girl. So,
Is she here?
anybody with kids, you know how it is. They bring them
Is she
home,
here?
oh my gosh, I hope that one. No, she's not here. I would talk great about her anyway. But, you know, the first couple he brought home, I was like, I hope this isn't the one that sticks. And so he finally found the right gal, and I look forward to getting married next June. And one of the things that really put a fire in me is knowing that one day, God willing, they'll produce some grandchildren for me, and I really want the America that we all grew up in to still exist when they come around. So I grew up in Texas. I've been in North Carolina now for 28 years. When my son was a brand new baby, we came here. His dad was from Fuquay, and he got a job with IBM and kind of moved us back up here. Originally, when I was in school, in college, I had a Texas government class, and it was the very first class I took in a community college. My dad had been going through cancer treatments, and my parents couldn't afford to send me to university, and so I went to community college for those first couple of years, and I took a Texas government class, and my professor's name was Dave Planscale. I'll never forget him. He was the most engaging professor I think I've ever had the honor to sit in a classroom. That semester ended, and the next semester, he started teaching night school. And he was teaching the United States government in night school. I was like, you know, I'm not going to risk taking this class during the day with somebody else because this guy's amazing. So I started going to night school, and I kept going to night school after that and working during the day. I finally ended up going down the nursing path, and I got married to a fellow who was in the military. I said, I need a job that will be portable, and I can be a nurse anywhere in this great nation. And so that's what I've done for the last 31 years. I have been a critical care nurse, emergency department nurse, spent the bulk of my career as a flight nurse. And that's essentially what I do right now when I'm the person behind the scenes pushing the pencil and paper around. I'm the administrator for Duke Flight. We've got 3 helicopters, about a dozen ambulances. I'm sure you've seen them either in the sky or on the road. And we take care of people across the great state of North Carolina. I've spent the last 30 years taking care of people who needed medical care and people who needed support. And what I want to do is translate those skills that I've learned into DC and take care of this nation. I am a fighter through and through. I've fought cancer. I've been by my husband's side the whole time he's been through the stem cell transplant and all the things that he's been through. I've seen what it's like not only from the inside of healthcare, but as somebody who needs to use healthcare. And we do have wonderful healthcare in this nation, better than anywhere else, but it certainly comes with a cost. Not only do we have the cost of the premiums that we pay or the co-pays, but we have the cost that, let's say we have our doctor orders a test for us and it's covered under insurance, and our insurance says no. Because there's somebody sitting behind a desk that thinks they're in a better position to make decisions about your health care than the doctor who's taking care of you. So one of the reasons that happens because the healthcare insurance lobby is huge, and they're in the pockets of all of those politicians who've been up there for a long time. And it's things like that that we have to stop. I think the examples could go on and on and on. I made a joke one day kind of saying, you know, if I'm able to get to DC, I'll say I was poor when I got there and I'm going to be poor when I go home. So it is not my goal to make money. It is my goal to do the right thing, to have a high level of integrity and support the people who sent me there. So over the last few months, I've made a lot of phone calls. I've talked to a lot of people, finding out the things that are most important. And it's a lot of trends, a lot of the same thing. Our children's education, our borders, our economy, our constitutional rights, all of the things that people are talking about today. And that's the beauty of being in an environment like this, is that we all believe in the same things and the same solid foundation for our nation. I'm no different. I think the thing that is the most scary, though, my husband has carried a weapon on his side as long as I've known him. And he kept saying, Renee, I want you to go get your concealed carry permit. It's important to me that you go get your concealed carry permit. And I said, why do I need a gun? Like, I'm always with you. You always have a gun. I don't necessarily need to pack one. And when I started this campaign, I found myself going to a lot of places without my husband. And I thought, I think it's probably time that I get my concealed carry permit. So I went to class and I got my permit. It hasn't come in yet, but Orange County is actually pretty quick, so I think it'll be in any day now. And got that taken care of. So I do believe in all of our rights, and the Second Amendment is probably at the top of the list, the First and Second Amendments, because without those, we have nothing. Without those, then we can be taken over very easily. And I had a conversation with my mom, who's a big old Democrat, and in the worst kind of way. And she says, Renee, I'm worried. Why are you getting a concealed carry permit? And I said, Mom, I don't want somebody taking anything away from me that belongs to me. And I don't want someone hurting me or my family because they're crazy. I said, so I want to make sure that I can protect myself and my family and the people around me. So I don't, I'm happy I'm running for the 4th District. David Price, 1987 is how long he's been there, with the exception of one term. So I graduated from high school in 1985. So he has been in Congress almost as long as I've been a voting adult. And it's time for him to go. I believe in term limits. I believe in keeping our Supreme Court at 9. If any of you guys have not gone on the Keep 9 amendment, go on there and support that effort, because it's going to be so important to keep 9 folks on our Supreme Court. So again, I'm not going to talk to you for a long time. The thing that sets me apart, I believe, is that my healthcare background, our healthcare still needs reform. It really does. There's so many things that are messed up with it right now, and I believe it's got to be an effort. So I'm strong. I might not look mean, but I really am. I sit back and I plot the course. And I would love and be honored and humbled for anyone who supports me and whoever's in my district and is able to vote for me. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate it. And you guys enjoy this wonderful Independence Day weekend.
What's your website?
My website is Renee, R-E-N-E, Borghese, BORGHESE.com. I'm also on social media at Renee for Congress. So, thank you guys.
Thanks, Renee. Renee Borghese for Congress. Thank you so much. Okay, now what we've been waiting for a while. We've heard some great political inspiration. Now we're going to get the band back up there. National Rock Show. They're making their premiere today here at the Hideaway at Crooked Creek. Please tell Greg Fleischer and his family, if you see him, how much you appreciate this venue. If any of you are planning weddings or know people planning weddings, this is the place. Very affordable, really good site. I think you'd really enjoy it, and he's very adaptive to whatever your needs are for weddings or other special events. So please remember the Hideaway at Crooked Creek. Now, the band will come back and we'll get rocking and rolling with the National Rock Show.
when that star-spangled banner goes by. Remember, don't be ashamed of the lump in your throat when that star-spangled banner goes by. Mighty proud may you be when that emblem you see. Don't walk away, the tear in your eye, in your eye. Count all your blessings, thank heaven up above. God bless America, the land that we love. Don't be ashamed of the lump in your throats when that star-spangled banner goes by, goes by. Count all your blessings, thank heaven up above. God bless America, the land that we love. Don't be ashamed of the lump in your throats when that star-spangled banner, that high-flying banner, that star-spangled banner goes by.
Through God we can make America great again. hearing they wanna see us fall. But here in America, and together, all for one for all. We're sisters and brothers, we defend each other. We won't be pushed around. Thank God I believe in Jesus, the only one to save us, the one thing I can't live without. So I'll stand my ground, stick firm in my faith, no matter what stage. We're gonna stand, fight for what we believe in. Hold my rights, don't let them take me. I'm gonna keep my guns for my protection, my guitar and rock the nation. To see us fall. Sorry, here in America, we stand together, all for one for all. We're sisters and brothers, we defend each other. We won't be pushed around. The only one to save us, one thing we can't live without. So it's called Easy to Know. So So I, oh, I'm ready to ride. We need to love one another. Open up your heart and discover you can have to be a part of God's perfect plan. Let's change this whole world together. We can make it the story better. Gotta show the world we need love. Oh, we so we need love. How we doing, Carolina? Carolina. What I thought. Born and raised here. Man, we're going to have time today. We're here to bring the excitement. I'll tell you a little bit of the National Rock Show. National Rock Show consists of a bunch of Southern boys here in North Carolina. We're pro-gun, pro-God. One man, one woman married. And we're against abortion. Anybody with us? You know, there's so much going on in our country today. So much division. If we just sit back a little bit and listen to what the Lord might have to say, it might sound a little bit like this. Why are you impatient? Why can't you follow my lead? Everything you have, I've given